Being delusional gets us a lot more places than you would think. You're openly being like, I'm faking it till I'm making it. You're reassuring the idea that this is not who you are when it actually is. Here's to the trying to figure things out in our 20-somethings. The past couple weeks, I personally have just been reflecting in that regard, just reflecting. I don't do anything but reflect. I've been reflecting and just kind of realizing that I'm kind of tired of letting life pass me by. I am turning 23 this year. Cue the existential crisis. I'm in my early 20s. I know a lot of you are in your late teens, early 20s, even late 20s, early 30s, and you are just looking for that push to do something, but you don't see people actively go after what they want. They usually just show the end goal and result, and I am tired of seeing that. I really am. I'm going to talk to you about how I plan to achieve all my goals in the year of 2025. I feel like this is the first year where I am actually actively looking for answers, clarity, and a better outlook on my life and have a better lifestyle, because I would always say things like, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do this, but do like none of the work or build the small habits to like actually get there. I'm a firm believer that you cannot move forward until you look at the past. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing and consistently doing is looking at my past and reflecting on where I went wrong. 2024 has taught me so many things, and I know we're like a month into 2025 now, but after doing some serious reflection, something that I definitely learned in 2024, time doesn't wait for anybody. Don't sit on ideas, act upon them. Planning is amazing, but becomes detrimental when you don't act on these plans. Time is going to pass anyway, and stop wanting things to be perfect the first time you do them. Done is better than perfect. And I feel like I just learned a bunch of things like that 2024. It's just situations that I have happening in my personal life and things like that, and it definitely has made me realize these small little things and sayings that I just said can allow me to actually apply them into my life and make changes in my life if I constantly remind myself of them. So if you see sticky notes around the house, don't be surprised. In order to start this year on a good note, I thought it would be best to set my goals and intentions first and foremost. Some of my goals this year, this isn't all of them, but a good majority of them, I would love to hit 700K on YouTube this year, to incorporate health and wellness in a way that I actually enjoy it. I want to read 10 books this year, save money in my emergency and personal finances fund for my screen time and social media usage. In order for me to set these goals, I looked at a life that I wanted to live. I asked myself, who do you want to be? Who is the person that is achieving all these goals? And I work from there like backwards. I recently read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I actually just posted a video of a full day of me trying to break bad habits and build better ones. If you're interested in that, if you haven't watched it yet, I actually really am proud of the video, so you should definitely check it out. The way I did it was I asked myself, what type of person does this? So for example, it's like, what type of person reads 10 books in a year? And in my head, they love big words. They have a vast vocabulary. They always have some sort of reading material on them, whether that's a book or a Kindle or an ebook on their phone or iPad or things like that. Or they go to the library often, or they spend a lot of time in bookstores. They thoroughly enjoy quiet time. They have a cozy home setup where they're able to read, little reading corner, if you will. So really almost like characterizing my goal would look like if it was an individual. I feel like vision boarding is such a good way to set the tone for something. I create vision boards for basically everything. My Canva is booked, I will say that. Vision boarding is essentially just creating a visual idea of what you want something to look and feel like, and hopefully you can accomplish someday. After I made my vision board and after I made my list of goals, I went ahead and set up this little chart. I actually went on Pinterest and stole one of these charts. It's like a SMART goal chart, and I'm gonna read what the acronym means because I can never remember it. SMART goals are essentially specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound steps. So instead of me saying I want to grow my social media, I could say instead I want to increase my engagement to over 4%. This is better because when it comes to the S, specific, it's definitely a specific number. It's measurable because it's a number and you can track the data for it. Is it achievable? Yes or no? How do you plan on achieving it? Relevant? Is it relevant to your lifestyle? Does it relate to the person you want to be? And then of course, time-bound steps. When do you want to have that done by? Really fleshing out goals in a way where you are able to create almost a plan. If I couldn't create SMART goals for it, I did not keep the goal in mine or on my list or in my Notion for my 2025 goals. And that's just kind of how I went ahead and started the introduction process to how I want to start getting my goals in motion. Because if you don't have a plan, babes, you're not going anywhere. Some tools that I will be using this year is Notion. I have a Notion tour on my channel that people always ask me about. Baby, the Notion tour is done. Hot girls use Notion. Yes, they do. I'm gonna link my current Notion tour on this video and down below if you guys are interested in that sort of thing. But Notion is basically a free productivity app that a lot of people use. All you do is just make it what you want. Right now, I use it mainly for work and content creation, and now I'm starting to use it for health and wellness as well. To keep these systems in line, I'm definitely tracking my progress with Notion. For example, my career stuff, I update my analytics page, my follower counts, my watch time, my click-through rates, and my engagement rates. And then I am also habit tracking through Notion as well. Notion is just a really big part of my life. If you're new here, you're probably like, girl, she lived Notion bad. I do. I have a habit tracking section on my homepage now that I just made from scratch, and I just put the date and check off what habits I do. And a lot of the habits that I do have in my daily life attribute to my goals. So for example, health and wellness, meditating, journaling, and just kind of that thing, stuff that I want to do every day. Also, this year I am implementing monthly and or quarterly check-ins with myself. I think a lot of us love to set these goals and we feel like we're on the right track, and the next thing you know, 6 months goes by and it's like, oh, this isn't working. So I definitely want to implement monthly and quarterly check-ins. And then something that I actually am starting in the month of February, because I didn't think about it in January or do it in January, is monthly bingo cards. I make mine on Canva. On the bingo card, I went ahead and put things that I want to do throughout the month that helps me get closer to my goals. So if one of my goals is to read 10 books for the year, breaking that into a smaller goal, on my February bingo card, I could say finish a book. If my goal for the year is to implement health and wellness in a way that I enjoy it, I could say go to the gym however many times in the month of February. If my goal is to reach 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, what can I do to help that? I can post more frequently. So in February, I can say like post 10 to 12 YouTube videos and like however many YouTube shorts. And then of course, something that I'm bringing back from when I was a student is time blocking and depending on Google Calendar for everything. Something I recently noticed is that I don't do very well when it comes to weekly planning. After about 2 or 3 days of following that very loosely, I'm not really as dedicated because I feel like I'm trying to think too far into the future. So I think now I'm going to take an hour or two, even 30 minutes a day to kind of refine my to-do list for the following day or the day of, depending on when I decide to sit down and do it. And time blocking my time for the tasks that I have to do. I just get so lost in what I'm supposed to be doing and I get tired and I don't plan based on how I feel, my energy levels, you know, my cycle. I don't do any of that. And I need to start taking that in consideration, but we will start thinking about more stuff like that down the line. Right now, I just need to have a little bit of tunnel vision and focus on the days that I can see and basically touch. I love time blocking. I don't know why I ever stopped. It's such a good technique. All my students, you definitely should like try it. It's great. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about how I plan to fight my setbacks, because as somebody who's a very goal-oriented person, if I don't achieve something to the highest regard, I am going to feel like a failure and it's going to make me quit entirely. I actually got this from Atomic Habits. Will she ever shut up? Even if you don't feel like doing one of your habits, start doing it for 2 minutes, and then when 2 minutes passes, you can stop. This, one, forces you to do your habit and keep your habit streak that you have, and two, it shows you that even when you don't want to show up, you still did. And it's reinforcing this idealized, romanticized version of yourself that you want to be, you know, that you set with your vision board and your goals for the year. It's solidifying that you are the person that you want to be. So for example, I want to read 10 books. Okay, I don't feel like reading. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I want to go to sleep now. By the time the 2 minutes passes, I'm indulged in my story, or I've started a new book to the point where I want to keep going. I am basically conditioning myself to think you are the reader girl boss lady that likes to read, because even when you don't feel like reading, you're still doing it. It's literal classical conditioning and it works like a charm. I want to talk a little bit more about my lifestyle changes that I am applying to my personal life, because for each aspect of my life, I need to adopt new habits and break old ones, and I need to go ahead and do this so I can dedicate myself to my goals and lifestyle changes that I want to reach. To make bad habits, you know, harder to go back to, you have to make them hard. Everybody impulse buys. Everybody does at least once, twice, 3 times, 10 times, 20 times. I'm a victim. Making the change that if I want something, I have to put it in the cart of wherever I want it for 7 to 10 days. If I still think about it after 7 to 10 days, I am allowed to buy it. When it comes to my self-improvement type of journey that I'm starting, I want to limit my screen time. And if I'm struggling with limiting my screen time, I obviously need to find some sort of entertainment or dopamine that allows me the same feeling that social media or my phone would. So I'll read a book or I'll watch a show, not on my phone, not on my computer, not on my iPad, on the TV. I feel like everybody says this, but you truly have to live like who you want to be. When I think of who I want to be as an individual, if I ask myself, because I ask myself all the time, would your such and such self do this? Would yourself at 1 million subscribers do this? Would yourself at 1 million subscribers post this? Would you at your most healthy and fit do this? Would you at your most emotionally aware and intelligent self do this? And when I ask myself those questions, it really kind of gives me more of a straight look into things I should or shouldn't be doing. My 1 million subscriber self would not post for 2 weeks. My healthy and fit self would not skip the gym. Emotionally available and intelligent self would not skip out on a therapy session or a meditating session or a journaling session. Doing this is a form of manifestation while also getting you in the habits that you want to adopt in your life. Being delusional gets us a lot more places than you would think. When it comes to me and I'm thinking about like who I want to be, even small things like dressing how a certain version of myself would dress. So if I'm healthy and fit, I would have like cute matching gym sets, or I would wear Gymshark like I am right now. My financial self that's a little bit more financially literate, I would buy things that are better quality, saving for that over time and actually saving up for stuff instead of taking things out of my paycheck to buy what I want. I did have this bullet point in my notes when it came to the outline of this video of faking it until you make it, but I'm at the point where there is no faking it till I'm making it. I'm not faking it. This is not fake. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. And as soon as you stop faking it and making it seem like this isn't you, yes, being delusional gets us to a certain point, but you're openly being like, I'm faking it till I'm making it. You're reassuring the idea that this is not who you are when it actually is who you are and who you are going to be. And finally, the last thing I kind of want to talk about is balancing more on your plates without burning out. When I was a student and I tried to do things new, such as working out, it would freak me out and I would go back in my little shell because I felt like I didn't have the time or the resources, or I didn't have the knowledge to excel at what I was doing. And I would always end up suffering and feeling burnt out because I was taking on so many new things. Being a student as a whole is already so stressful and it can burn you out easily. As somebody who was in college for a few years, babe, I get it. I don't know if I could ever go back, but I get it. I strongly sympathize with all my students out there. Burning out is something that is so much more normal than I think people think. You don't have to be a creative person to burn out. You can suffer just as much as the person next to you, and you are in two different fields of study, different career paths. You can have different backgrounds. Everybody gets burnt out in their own ways. And you go from 0 to 100, you find yourself burning out faster because you're using more gas and energy to try to get somewhere that you should gradually do over time. I think for me, to avoid burnout is actually implementing these daily habits that would make my goals come to fruition a lot faster. So if my goal is to make more money, save more money, grow on socials, I will spend a power hour every day working on my social media platforms, looking at my analytics, content planning, coming up with shot lists, going on Pinterest, getting typography inspo. If my goal is to save more money, I don't want to put $1,000 aside every single paycheck. Sometimes it's going to be whatever cash I find laying around the house, I'm going to deposit that into my savings account. Or it's going to be moving $10 from my personal spending over to my savings every week, or moving $100 every month. The small building blocks that allows us to still be ourselves while also getting on top of what we need to get on top of that are going to make the biggest difference. Consistency is the thing that differentiates between amateurs and masters at what they do. If you don't have consistency or the habits to do so, you're not going to go anywhere. It's just a little food for thought. I think I want to implement the system of each month I get to get myself something or do a little experience with myself in order to celebrate things that I am accomplishing. So in the month of February, which is basically here already, I'm just implementing little challenges throughout the year for my finance goals, and I think to celebrate them, I think I should be able to buy myself a little something at the end of February. You know what? You didn't get clothes or shoes or anything that you wear. You can get yourself a nice little accessory at the end of the month. I did a really good job with not eating out in January. Let's celebrate with a nice meal out with friends or by yourself. Go get your favorite ramen. Allowing myself to have these small little goals gives me something, one, to look forward to, and two, it allows me to realize I'm doing a lot more and giving myself a lot less credit than I probably deserve, because as somebody who is actively trying to break their bad habits every day, it can be so easy to just be like, oh, you didn't do this day, but it's like you've gone 2 weeks without eating out. And considering how big of a bad habit that was for me last year, if you guys watched the DoorDash era, you know it was bad. I think just having those little small wins just means the absolute world. But yeah, that's kind of how I want to turn my life around this year. Those are the things I'll be using. If you guys want more sit down videos where I talk about my personal experiences, let a girl know. The worst thing I can say is no, I'm not doing that. So definitely give me some video requests down below as we are going into February, the month of love. I want to know, what are you doing this year to accomplish your goals? I want specific steps. When the end of the year is near and before you know it here, you can look back at this video and say, hey, did I do this? Did I not do this? Why did I stop doing that? Really just give yourself a space to reflect and feel, like you have something to look back on. I am very excited to showcase even more of my self-help and self-improvement journey. Here's to the trying to figure things out in our 20-somethings. If you guys are interested in more types of videos like this one, you can watch this one here on the screen, or if you want to see more videos like this and you want to go on a complete binge, here's a playlist for you to watch. And I hope you guys enjoy it, because this will not be the last time we see each other. Love you so much. I will see you guys later.